No, I can feel myself fading.
Don't give up, Sheena! I've already leveled you past the max! You're in God mode now! Try summoning your power from within. If you don't concentrate, then you'll stand no chance against that thing. Hold strong. Keep your head up. You can do it! Believe in yourself!
I can't. I've never had it in me. Everyone else is gone. I'm the only one left.
Don't give up. Don't give in to despair.
I can't save this world.
Sheena! Behind you! Watch out! Sheena!
A monster, infected by a deadly virus, opened its sinister maw. And sank its razor-sharp fangs into her flesh, locking its jaw onto her before spitting her out. Thick droplets of her blood were splattered onto the dirt. Gashes on her abdomen exposed her spinal cord and vital organs. She made 2 tepid steps backward before crumbling to the ground like a marionette with snipped strings.
Damn it! Sheena!
As shock set in, she struggled to make sense of what was happening around her. With a last, desperate breath, she uttered, Mizanashi. Mizanashi.
Sheena!
Mizanashi. It hurts.
Sheena, don't! Hurry! Get away from there! Please! Stop! Stop!
The monster licked its lips, its taste for blood slowly driving it toward the meek and bloodied prey before it. Its nostrils flared, savoring the anticipation before snapping its jaws around the girl's head and heaving it into the empty sky. Her freshly removed spinal cord trailed behind her mangled head like a nightmarish comet. Her headless body slammed into the dirt, color draining out of it as it settled into the ever-growing pool of blood.
Sheena! Sheena! Damn it! I couldn't save her in time! God! Buddha! Whoever the hell is listening! Damn you! This death end is horrific! You... What is your purpose? God damn it!
You, staring at me. Who are you? Are you God? Or are you the devil? What does the end of the world mean? Oh,
was just a dream. Or should I say a nightmare? What did it mean? Huh? Where am I? Whose house am I in? Actually, who am I? What the? They're wrapped so tight. What are they? Huh? They look like spider legs. Yuck! They gross me out. Huh? What the? What?
And after that cryptic and blooded opening, let me be the first to welcome you to Death End Request. An amazing, if very flawed, game that is recently confirmed to be getting a sequel, so I wanted to show off for all of its beauties and all of its shortcomings. When we open up, our main character, who the text box tells us is called Sheena, but she doesn't know who she is yet, can explore this room to our heart's content. You have to click on everything before you can go, and you'll find out little tidbits. Like there's a young girl and a mother, maybe. Huh? The mother looks strangely similar to me. Can't be, I must be imagining things. I wonder if this family lived here. Over there, that blue thing is your save crystal. You can't save anywhere, and there isn't an autosave. You have to manually save the old school way. However, in an interesting way, and I'll talk about it more when it becomes necessary, you can save during cutscenes. Seriously, why can't I remember anything? Where the hell am I? Wait, I just need to collect my thoughts. Let's just calm down and take a deep breath. Think. If I can't recall my memories, maybe I just need to retrace my steps. Start wherever I can remember and take it from there. It'll be fine, piece of cake. Inhale. Okay, can I remember my name? Sheena! Yeah, that's it, Sheena. I only remember my first name. But that's okay, it's progress. Still have no idea where I am, though. This house must belong to whoever's posing in this photograph. Something about this house is oddly familiar, like I've stood here before. This girl, too, in the photo, I recognise it from somewhere. Besides, there's still no sign as to how I ended up here in the first place, is there? Perhaps I can let this go for now. Okay, what did I do yesterday? Nothing's come to mind. The longer I stay here, the more depressed I'll become. Maybe I should go outside. If I can get some fresh air, it'll come back to me. Stewing in here without a clue won't do me any good. The only way is to get out of this rut is to keep going. But you can save at these crystals here, and I will be making a point to highlight every time you should be saving, because there are a few moments that I'll be able to explain after a long talking cutscene and in a little bit, because I said the first 3 parts is going to be very talkative. Is it all coming back to me? That's right, I'm an adventurer! Once every 2,000 years, the gates to Odyssia, the magical sky capital, opens up to adventurers that are pure of heart. Naturally, a city in the sky isn't exactly easy to find, so I had to set off to Heartis, the military kingdom, to find more information. In a stroke of good luck, one of the local guides in Heartis let me reside in his house the duration of my stay here. Oh, what a relief. I was beginning to panic, thinking that my memories would never return. Well, I got a sword, which should come in handy for wherever I'm off to. I'm Sheena the Adventurer. Time for me to see Odyssia, the legendary city in the sky. Guess that explains why I've gotten these legs dangling underneath my dress. Wow, everything's coming back to me. When it rains, it pours. They say people who visit Odyssia discover riches and happiness beyond their wildest dreams. Wait for me, Mother. I promise I'll find Odyssia and bring you the happiness you need. Anyway, this place. Is there no one else around? So now you're free to explore. You might be noticing in the top right, every time you come back from a cutscene, it shows our stats screen, and there's another character underneath ours. Just in case you didn't watch part 0, I'll reiterate, there are specific little scenes throughout the game that require you to have a DLC character in your party from the start, for you to access them. If you have a DLC character join in later in the adventure, you lose access to these cutscenes until New Game Plus. So for this part 2 and part 3, we do have a DLC character that'll be in our party, but as soon as it will let us take her off the team, she will be going off the team because she is way too unfair of an advantage in this. I'm telling you right now, especially early game, all the way it's actually pretty late in the game, her stats are far higher than anyone else's. It's obscene. So I would not recommend using her if it's your first playthrough. unless you really do just want to experience the story and don't care about the difficulty. But even then, there's an easy mode, so you're probably playing it on easy if you don't care about the difficulty and you just want to go through the story. I'm playing this on normal because hard is pretty unforgiving and I want to actually get through this in a reasonable amount of time. Come to think of it, did I even bother to eat yesterday? The memory still escapes me, in fact. I have no idea how long I was asleep, and this kingdom doesn't resemble how it looked when I first got here. I don't remember it looking this desolate. Heartis' aggressive tactics for invading nearby kingdoms landed themselves in a less than favourable reputation, meaning they had few allies. Sturful, Goen, Rosari, Tora. Even so, what army is capable of wiping a kingdom off the face of the world? I shudder to think what kind of power is at play here. I wonder what happened. Tell me, where did my memories go? And now we're in our first build, the Northern Heartis Wilds. And we're going to be able to explore it for about 2 seconds.
Did someone scream just now? Where did it come from? Where are you? Please, answer me!
Help me! Somebody!
Oh no! Someone's being attacked by a monster. I have to help somehow. But do I even know how to fight? He'll be fine. That's what muscle memory's for, right? I'm sure I'll get the hang of it.
And just like that, we're thrown into our first fight, the tutorial fight, which, for a reason I'll explain in a minute, you might want to lose. I'm not going to, but there is something in it for you if you decide to lose. Also, over there is our DLC character, but just ignore her. She's not there. She doesn't exist. It doesn't matter that her health is 666 at a starting point. That doesn't mean anything, clearly. Just ignore it, carry on with your day. Right, the combat works pretty simply. If you press the X button, you'll set up a standard combo with just basic attack, basic attack, basic attack. It's basically your rush combo. Triangle will bring up your entire command list, which will allow you to go through and stack together anything you is. You can use up to 3 attacks at one go. If you have more physical attacks than magic attacks, afterwards you'll do a forfeit, which is a knockback attack, which doesn't do much damage. As you saw there when I started setting them up, a little light bulb appeared on the end with a 16% chance. That's how you unlock new skills. You mix and match certain combinations, and then if you do them, you get a set percentage chance of unlocking a new skill, as you just saw there. If the percentage is way too low and you're finding it very unlucky, the higher your level is, the more the percentage will go in your favour. And as you can see with these enemies, there's one enemy that's nailed to the ground, that worm over there, so we're fine to move around and not worry. But you're going to see me do one attack with this DLC character, and just look at that. Look at how insane this character is. That was me showcasing how powerful this DLC character is.
My turn.
But now as we come to the end of this fight, I'll explain more mechanics as and when they need to pop up, but that's everything there is now. You got your command list and you've got your rush attack. And that's the end of the fight. However, if you decide to deliberately let yourself lose the fight, you get greeted to a rather interesting cutscene.
My urge to kill is not satisfied.
My body is moving the way I want it to, yet maybe I shouldn't have butted in. Before I had a chance to regret my decision, my body was feasted upon by a vicious monster. This is a death end. Throughout the game, there are 28 death ends. Fulfilling certain conditions will get you a special cutscene. Triggering these cutscenes will earn you special rewards. And that's all that needs to be said right now. So let's go back to what happens if we win.
I managed to kill it.
Are you all right?
A little bruised is all.
Forgive me. It's all my fault.
No, I'm just glad you're safe.
Oh, you are far more heroic than you look. Allow me to extend my gratitude by tending to those wounds of yours.
I would appreciate that. I'm feeling a lot better now. Thank you.
On the contrary, I should be the one thanking you for saving me. Pardon me, I haven't yet introduced myself. My name is Rook. As you have likely gathered by now, I am a traveling merchant by trade.
Nice to meet you. I'm Sheena, an adventurer.
A pleasure. Lately, martyrs have been taking to crowding these trails, making it impossible for me to sell my wares in peace.
What's a martyr?
Oh, haven't you heard?
Well, you see, I actually just woke up a few moments ago with no recollection of how I got there. My memory's fuzzy.
What? Oh, how awful. Martyrs are monsters that have been touched by the kiss of madness. Yes, for a few months now, reports of monsters attacking people have been increasing to a frightening degree.
What? Did you say a few months? How did I not remember any of this?
Much has changed in the last year. Do you really remember nothing?
Not a thing.
Not even what you ate yesterday.
Nope.
Most unfortunate.
Well, I can't let it bring me down. Things will turn up sooner or later.
What makes you say that?
My mother always told me that someone up there is watching out for me.
I see. Your mother sounds like a devout woman. Surely our Lord will shine upon you with his blessings. Amnesia is nothing to scoff at. I can imagine how confusing all of this must be, so I will try to help you in the meantime.
Then, would you mind catching me up on everything I've missed?
Well, you needn't burden yourself with the sad tale of this fallen world. Some things are better left unsaid.
I want to know it all. Please, tell me.
Very well, then. Allow me to tell you about the Entoma Scourge. 1 year ago, the world as we had known it ceased to exist. On that fateful day, a terrifying beast came down from the heavens and unleashed catastrophe across the entire country.
What? What do you mean? What's an Entoma?
The Entoma was a curse from the gods, a living, breathing embodiment of atrocity, brought to life by the despicable sins committed by our people. Vanity and greed became the gospels of our time. The rich became richer, and the poor became poorer. Soon, it seemed people had forgotten how to love. In no time at all, the thin fabric holding friends and family together was torn asunder. Constant threats of war and invasion gave corrupt nobles the chance to tax every cent from out of their subjects' pockets. Desperation birthed from a widening gap betwixt the rich and poor. Thievery and violence became commonplace. Lives lost over loaves of bread. The nobility cackled atop their high towers, taking pleasure in watching their subjects turn on one another while they sipped their wine. The notion of salvation became a fool's currency. Eventually, the destitute and starving citizens had reached a point of no return. One by one, they fell to their knees onto the ragged earth, begging for death as mercy from their constant suffering. Memories of our vibrant past were tossed into the graves of those brave enough to remember them. That is, until the Scourge had ripped the heavens in half without warning. It cut through the sky like steel through flesh, flattened our mountain ranges, and ruined our forests and seas with a divine rainbow light. The beast itself had later become known as Heaven's Messenger, striking fear into the hearts of those unlucky enough to cross its path. Furious with our people's disregard for life, God saw fit to punish us without warning. We had no choice but to accept.
Heaven's messenger? Divine punishment?
Within 10 days, the beast destroyed not only Hardis, but each of the surrounding kingdoms as well. Mankind was beside itself, without recourse or any chance of retaliation. Men, women, and children were being killed, left and right. Just when we thought that all hope was lost, our long-awaited salvation had finally arrived. The monster's body had suddenly frozen and shattered into pieces.
What happened to it?
That I do not know. All we know for certain is the monster's shattered fragments rained down upon our world, leaving little behind save for its terrible memory in our minds. Spared from their accursed tyranny, the people celebrated in the streets.
So there are survivors aside from us.
Yes, although few and far between. Some of them still live in small enclaves. However, the fact that you lack any recollection of this event means you were asleep not for a few months, but for over a year.
I have no idea how I lost my memory, so I'll just have to fill in the blanks somehow. I appreciate you taking the time to recount what I've missed. Seems like I've got a lot of catching up to do.
Ah, you impress me. It's rare to find someone whose nose is still pointed towards the future. Sheena, there's a bit more to this story. Many who survived the calamity experienced a strange emotional shift, proclaiming to dedicate their lives to piety. People had interpreted their salvation as a miracle, and thus were eager to pay it forth to prevent another monster from appearing. As of a few months ago, however, this ended with a few alarming consequences.
How so?
An event known as the Mass Consternation. Odd, unexplainable happenings popping up out of nowhere. In one instance, a man had evaporated like smoke in his own bedroom. A woman claimed to see God's light before slitting her own throat.
What?
I heard of one village that committed a mass suicide by drowning, jumping into the ocean like a pack of rats from a sinking ship.
Why would they do such a thing?
I don't know. It was as if they were martyrs, suffering for the sake of avoiding retribution. It was around this time that monsters started to appear yet again, igniting fear into those who had survived to remember their ghastly deeds. Eventually, people began suspecting that the souls of these recently departed martyrs learned how to inhabit the bodies of monsters. Hence, monsters began attacking innocent people without warning. At least, that was the rumor. The name soon stuck, and these beasts you see roaming around are what we now refer to as martyrs. Crowds of frightened town-goers would look up at the sky at once and mutter, "We are forsaken."
I don't understand. What could compel people to end their own lives? There has to be some explanation, right?
You're wise, Sheena. As you stated, we had eventually discovered the reason for the mysterious slew of mass suicides. It appears you have one attached to your leg as well. That is the mark of the Entoma, the catalyst that drives people to madness. Unfortunately, You will soon feel its effects as it slowly eats away at your mind.
What? He must mean the spider legs. Ah! What the? It's moving? Ah! It's fluttering up my skirt!
That, my dear, is proof of your curse. It has a mind of its own, ensnaring its hapless prey while slowly corrupting it over time. If inorganic matter is touched by the curse, then it eventually withers away. If it latches onto a living thing, however,
Then what happens?
their brains become infected to the point that they spiral out of control. You might be a bigger threat to yourself than you think. Now that monsters in this damned Entoma have all but doomed this place, there is little for anyone to do other than watch the gradual and tragic demise of our world. Oh, goodness me, in times as bleak as these, it feels like a real labor to go on living. Huh? What's the matter?
Oh, nothing. I think I just have a stomachache.
Oh, no! Forgive me. I've spent all this time reminiscing. How rude of me.
I'm fine. It'll subside in a bit. If everything you said was true, about the curse and the end of the world, then I'm so sorry. Somehow, though, I'm still happy.
But how can you?
It makes me think. Meeting someone new and learning something about them feels like a miracle of its own at times. When I see my reflection in someone else's eyes, I can't help but blush. For a brief moment, my life has purpose. Knowing that I matter to someone else brings me joy. It's hard to explain.
Joy, huh?
Yes. So, Rook, you just need to... I'm so sorry. That was rude of me.
It's fine. Because of what you just said, I am reminded that life still holds some splendor. Thank you for sharing that beautiful sentiment.
You're welcome.
I've no doubt that someday we will find a way to lift the curse of the Entoma from our lands. If I learn anything more about it, then you'll be the first to know.
Really? Thank you. Well, guess I'll be seeing you around, Rook. The world needs me.
Sheena, where are you going?
I'm an adventurer. There's only one place for me to go. The place where all adventurers dream of. The mystical sky capital, Odyssea.
Odyssea? Are you sure that such a place even exists? All of what I just mentioned, including Heaven's Messenger, is a little more than hearsay. Stories to scare young children.
Of course it exists. Dream a little, Rook. I'm sorry. I spoke out of turn again.
Oh, please, I don't mind. So, do you have any clue how to reach Odyssea?
Well,
Additionally, extensive travel requires adequate funds. Are you well prepared? Apologies. Judging by your reaction, the answer would seem to be no. Oh, come to think of it, I recall the king had announced that he was recruiting new guards. Why don't you try gaining some money that way,
Really? Yes, I'd love to.
In that case, let me show you how to reach the palace. Follow this corner, then make a left down this path. Here is a map.
Wow, thank you. See you around.
Good luck out there, young traveler.
Bless you, Rook. Good luck to you too.
What a spry thing. If the next generation has as much spirit as her, then perhaps there's hope yet for the future of our world. However, it might be too late.
Right, that is a major criticism I'm going to make about the game right now. There is no way on your first playthrough you're going to process all of that. You're not going to process martyrs being the monsters of the world, God sending a monster called Heaven's Messenger to wipe everything off, the Entoma Scourge and how it's cursing and driving people insane, driving people to suicide, and how it's affecting Sheena slowly but surely, whether she cares to admit it or not. You're not going to think about the mass constitution, the Constitution, or whatever it was called. All of that stuff in a giant block only 20 minutes into the adventure. That's a lot to expect from a newcomer to just take in, right? That's fucking insane. That's a huge criticism on my part, and I hope they slow that down the second one. That's such a ginormous plot dump 20 minutes into the bloody adventure. Like, what the fuck? His silence is disarming. Maybe if I scream, someone will notice me. Hello? Hello? I'm here to enlist as a guard. I'm here to enlist as a guard. Not a peep. This place really is empty. Well, maybe not. The front gate was open. The king's probably sitting in the throne room. I should try searching more thoroughly. You killed my wife! Off with your head! Huh? Huh? Where did that voice come from? I'm in Heart's Palace, the first proper dungeon of the environment, which we won't be able to really get to explore until part 4, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here. This place is ginormous. It's actually one of the bigger locations on the map, like in the game, and we'll actually be returning to it much later on because of how big it is. But you can get some basic items here and there, and if you tap in R3, or the right stick in general, you can go into an auto sprint, which will immediately lead me into a second thing I want to criticise about this game that I promise I love. When you're running around, they have a sound play for when the characters are starting to run out of breath, even though they can't. It's just there to make them a bit more believable. Problem is, it's the exact same voice clip and it plays on loop and it's pretty loud, and it's the same issue in both the English and Japanese dub of the game. Like Sheena, if you listen through my talking, every now and then just does this really heavy breathing when I'm running, and you just have to learn to ignore it after a while, kind of thing, because it yeah, and it doesn't stop the moment you stop. It just carries on if you sprint for too long. So if you see me jumping around like a moron, it's because I'm starting to find the heavy breathing voice clip annoying. Case in point. But despite my criticism of how much of a plot dump it is, the plot synopsis at the start we got there, I did find fascinating. I just wish it was a bit slower on its delivery instead of just chunking everything down your throat in one go. And even though I haven't been able to talk too much in this video, I am going to wrap this up because these next two videos are going to continue to be pretty big because of how much cutscene focus there is. So next time on Death and Request, we'll try and find out what that voice came from as we head into the centre of the Heart's Palace. But until then, you guys take care now.